I've reviewed 10,000 PM resumes. Here are the 20 biggest mistakes I see over and over. My name is Alex. I was a group product manager at Google for 4 years, where I was a top interviewer, reviewing thousands of resumes, conducting hundreds of interviews. Now I help proactive PMs land their dream job. In this video, I'm going to go over the problems that I see over and over in strategy and positioning, structure and formatting, content and impact, credibility, and red flags that I see. Let's get right into it. First problem is your resume doesn't address the problem that the hiring manager or recruiter has. You are writing your resume to talk about yourself instead of talking about the problems that the hiring manager or the recruiter is actually trying to solve. Remember, the hiring manager has some problems. They have some organizational issues that they have to solve. They have some products that they want to build, maybe some things they want to go to market, maybe they want to expand or grow. They have some problems in their business. They've put together this job description. Now they want to hire someone that has A, B, and C because the hiring manager thinks that those qualities will make them more likely to succeed in this role. So they're very excited and they want to hear how you can actually solve their problem. They don't want to hear about your background, education, and everything. You're talking about yourself in all kinds of ways. You're going on, but you're never giving them a reason for why they should think that you could solve their problem. The recruiter has a similar situation going on that the hiring manager, except the recruiter doesn't fully understand the job always. They are just given a list of like 3 or 4 top things from the hiring manager, and they're trying to find those things in the resumes of candidates that are coming in. So if they cannot find it because you're not solving their problem in the resume, then they're not going to reach out to you. So this is a common problem. Number 2, your resume doesn't have a strong hook. Just like with every other piece of media these days, you got to actually hook your viewers, your readers. You got to give them something that says, hey, keep going down this document. You're going to find something you want in there. The answers are in there. So what's the hook? Your hook has to be some recognizable companies, some significant impact, maybe relevant skills or experience, something meaningful where it says, please keep reading. It's going to be worth it. You need a hook. Number 3, you don't say the words product manager nearly enough. Recruiters, especially, and hiring managers want to see that they're hiring an actual product manager, not a person who's an entrepreneur, a co-founder, a product analyst, a scrum master, a project manager. We want to see the words product manager in there so that we know, hey, this is a strong signal. This person understands it is an exclusive job to be a product manager. It is an all-encompassing area of work. And this is exactly what you did. Just say product manager. Number 4, you're not demonstrating appropriate leveling signals. As you go through the levels of product management, starting from junior, maybe entry level, junior, regular product manager, senior, and then group or principal or lead PM where you're leading a team, there's a few things that change. And they are not that many things even. The first one is scope. You're working on tactical things and features and little specific areas of the business or the product. And as you expand in level, you actually take on more and more scope where now you're running bigger product features. Maybe you're running the whole product. Maybe it's an entire product area. Maybe it's an entire business or a sub-business or a business line. It's the scope, the complexity of the areas in which you work. That has to change as you're applying for different level positions. The second thing that has to change is your leadership aspects. How big is the cross-functional team that you're leading? How big is the direct team that you're leading? Do you have multiple layers of people reporting to you where people that report to you also have their own direct reports as you get into group PM and director and so forth? How are you thinking about all aspects of leadership and people management? How is that represented and shown on your resume? The higher the level of the role where you're applying, the more people management, leadership, and team management has to come into play. And the third aspect of this leveling component is the strategy piece. How much do you do tactical work where you're just launching things day to day, tweaking little things versus strategic efforts that take quarters to develop, maybe years sometimes. You're aligning big roadmaps with the other orgs. You're shaping the future strategy of the company. The higher the level, the more you have to do that and it has to be shown in the resume. Problem number 5 is underemphasizing your entrepreneurial background. If you have a startup that you've run, or you have worked on another startup, or you've co-founded maybe, you should show that off. There's a ton of areas in entrepreneurship and business, small business, and really any business that overlaps with product management. And people kind of shy away from that. Oh, I just ran a small family business in the real world or in software or a consulting or a service-based business. It doesn't matter because the skills and the activities that are required to take something from 0 to 1 in any environment, especially in a business environment, are the same ones that you're going to be leveraging in your product career. So you want to actually demonstrate that in your resume. You don't want to shy away from that. You actually want to lean into it and show, look at these. I've got these entrepreneurial sets of experiences that are going to make me better at navigating the challenges of your role. And people seem to shy away from those. Remember that big tech companies do like that entrepreneurial background. Number 6, underemphasizing your product adjacent experience. Besides product management proper, there's a lot of stuff that a lot of people have in their background that could be relevant to product management. Maybe you've done some design, maybe you've done customer service, maybe you've done sales, maybe you've done marketing. There's just so many things that are very, very relevant to the trade, skill, and craft of product management that people think should be left off the resume. But in reality, a lot of that stuff can deliver impact and can be the same things that we end up doing as a product manager. So a lot of times in those situations, I would actually lean in to the impact that you've had in those product adjacent roles and actually just add the role, product manager right after your actual title. If you had adjacent titles that are not really nominally product manager roles, but you were doing the work that was related or adjacent to product. So lean into all of that product adjacent work. You've worked with customers, you've worked on the business, lean into it. Finance side, partnership side, affiliates, P&L, all of those are areas that have a lot of product adjacencies that you can show off in your resume. Number 7, too many side projects or an overemphasis on continuing education. I've kind of bundled these together because it's just people talking about stuff that doesn't really matter for the hiring manager or the recruiter. They don't really care about your marquee project or your, capstone project that you put together for this course that you did. It's just not useful information for the recruiter or the hiring manager. They can't really tell what to do with that. A capstone project is just you doing a thing. It doesn't say whether it is actually useful to anybody. And that's why capstone projects and side projects should not be overemphasized. Instead, if you can get them to a point where they were actually used by real humans and you've got some actual problems being solved or some pain points being addressed, then you can lean into them. But if they're just sort of to show that you did this thing without a concrete impact or some benefit to a specific group of people, it's kind of self-serving, not really useful. Now let's get into the structure and formatting side. We've got a few here. Your resume is just too long. It goes on and on and on. My rule of thumb is if you're 10 years or over, you can do 2 pages. If you're under 10 years experience, just do 1 page. I don't care how many different diverse sets of experience you have, just do 1 page. If you have over 10 years, you can feel free to do 2 pages. I would rarely go over 2 pages unless you're going for some CPO, extremely high level executive position where you really need to go into the details. I would just keep it 2 pages and under. Don't go over that. Number 9, multi-line bullets. If you have a ton of multi-line bullets, your resume begins to look like a wall of text, and it is impossible to get through. As someone reviewing these resumes, there's going to be a huge obstacle, sort of like a mental block, to getting through this resume because of these long, thick bullets that look like a wall of text, and we almost have this cognitive wall over there that we just don't want to engage with this content. So try to keep your bullets short, 1 line, 2 line, 3 line every now and then is okay, but don't make every single bullet super long and wall of texty. Number 10, overused emphasis, overused bold. If you're bolding every single bullet, every single sentence, or maybe 1 sentence per bullet, you're still using bold too much. If you're using too much bold, it's as if you didn't use bold at all because everything is highlighted, so nothing is highlighted. Highlight just the impactful areas of the bullets and keep plenty of space in between the highlighted parts. Number 11, most common mistake that I see, ridiculous formatting. Please don't get creative with your resume types. What are you trying to actually do? Are you trying to reduce the amount of callbacks that you get? Please don't get fancy. Italic fonts, fancy fonts, cursive, graphics all over the place. All of that stuff distracts from the message, distracts from the chance for you to actually get someone to engage with your hook, engage with your material in the resume. Please don't have multiple columns, so you have to go top to bottom, then again top to bottom. Just keep it simple, please. Number 12 is unnecessary verbiage. Things like summary, executive summary, or overview, or like other experience, sometimes even like work experience. Like we just don't need extra words. If you can remove a word or series of words or a heading or really any verbiage without losing the meaning of what you're trying to get across, then just remove it. You don't need it. Number 13, not enough impact in your bullets. This one is pretty foundational. You want your bullets to be product management bullets. That means they have to be impactful. It's not just about what your job requirements or job duties or responsibilities are. And it's not just about what you did. It's mostly and primarily about the results. There's a lot of different ways for you to demonstrate impact in the work that you do, and it has to be apparent in the bullets. You can't just be descriptors. It's got to be valuable, and it's got to be impactful. Number 14, inappropriate usage of skills. I sometimes see skills at the very top of the resume. Obviously, they don't belong there. But also, I just see random skills like leadership or cross-functional management or something silly like that, sort of like your LinkedIn set of weird 50 skills that every human being should have, but you just sort of put them in there. Don't do that. Don't just list random skills. This is not what a product manager's job entails. Yes, you have to leverage those skills, but those skills are really table stakes for product management. We assume you have those skills if you are able to deliver impact at any of your product manager roles that you help. Skills should be hard skills, like SQL, for instance, or coding if you need that, or something, or work around foundational AI systems. Maybe even design could be a hard skill, but I'd much rather you show me these skills in actual bullets that led to result of something. Just show me what you did with that skill in a bullet instead. Number 15 is listing your responsibilities instead of impact. This is level 1 of product management. You just talk about your responsibilities, owning the roadmap, or running cross-functional team meetings, or facilitating sprints. Like, don't tell me your list of responsibilities. Talk to me instead about the impact that you deliver. Number 16, too much detail about what the company does. You don't need to add a line, 2 or 3 lines after each company name to explain what they do. It doesn't really matter. The one exception is if you're applying for a very similar company where you're using very similar sets of skills or experiences. But even then, I would say just say it in a bullet. Don't waste time describing what the company does, burning valuable real estate instead of just sharing something meaningful in a bullet about what the company does and what you helped it accomplish. Number 17, no numbers or few numbers. You lack measurable results. Product management ultimately is about running a business. So whether you worked on awareness for the product, engagement in the product, retention, monetization, referrals, or some internal improvement related to delivering for the customer, you need objective, measurable outcomes, numbers. You need dollars, you need usage, you need savings, you need revenue, costs, profitability, retention rate, referral rates, conversion rates. You need metrics and numbers. Number 18, unexplained gaps. You just have 2 years that are not explained at all. And the most visible ones are the ones that are the most recent. For instance, if we're in 2025 and you're applying and the last job ended in 2023, you have no explanation. You haven't been doing anything for 2 years and you just don't explain it in any way. That's not great. That raises red flags and we want to know what you've been up to. Number 19 is a lot of short stints. Short stints nowadays means about a year and a half or less. If you have one of these, it's okay. If you have 2, it's already starting to get suspicious. If you have more than 2, it could be a red flag. Why do you start jobs and then quickly leave them? You should be able to weave a narrative around this, but at the resume stage, we have to find a way to make this work for you because just short stints on its own will not look good to a recruiter. And number 20 is inappropriate location information. If you want to work and live in San Francisco and you're applying for these San Francisco Bay Area product manager jobs, don't put your location when you're applying for a job that's in another geographical area. Leave it off if you are not in a popular location and you're applying for these locations. And if you are, in fact, open to relocation to these areas, please just put that city name just to get your foot in the door. If you're applying for Seattle roles, then just go ahead and put Seattle if you are prepared to move over there at a moment's notice. I don't want you to misrepresent yourself, but if your intention is actually to move there, then just go ahead and put that geography on there. All right, those are the 20 most common problems I see with the resumes. If you fix these, honestly, you're going to be ahead of 99.9% of PM applicants. And if you are looking for your next PM role, you can book a call with our team using the link in the description. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you next time.